This is the most shocking NBA trade, maybe shocking sports trade in sports history. As we sit here in 2025, sports fans are consuming breaking news, consuming sports news, and consuming sports, honestly, in a much different way. Nobody holds a candle to Twitter. How are sports fans getting their news in 2025? My name is David Brickley. This is the Business of Social podcast. It's all powered by ST and Digital. And, I wanted to talk about this real quick because I guess it's somewhat anecdotal, but I do think you can speak to it on a wider sports basis. Being a diehard Laker fan, as hopefully a lot of you know by now that listen to the podcast. Yeah, big fan of this Luka Dončić guy. This was a great surprise at 9:30 Pacific p.m. On the West Coast when this all went down on a Saturday night. As I record this here on Monday, February 10th, Luka's, getting ready probably as we speak for his first ever game against Utah. So I'm very excited about that. We'll see how he looks on the court with LeBron and Austin Reeves and all my Laker boys, But, I was really paying attention to how I was consuming this story because as we sit here in 2025, sports fans are consuming breaking news, consuming sports news, and consuming sports, honestly, in a much different way. I've mentioned this a lot in the past that even myself, I may miss a Laker game, but I watched the full 14-minute Bleacher Report highlight that is uploaded within minutes, it seems like, of the final buzzer, which is great for the NBA because digital consumption is up at an all-time high, and an NBA fan like me is engaging with this content, but I'm not necessarily watching the full game every time, which, that's a macro question in terms of how do you monetize that behavior. But I wanted to quickly talk you through what my experience was with what pretty much people are arguing. I don't know if it's an argument. This is the most shocking NBA trade, maybe shocking sports trade in sports history. So this is what happened to me. And I just wanted to share this real quick because I think as I talked about this with a lot of colleagues when I was out in New Orleans at the Super Bowl, they experienced the same thing. So I wanted to share this. So Saturday, about 9:18 p.m. Pacific, if we're being exact, I got a text from a friend that Luka to Lakers ? And I immediately go to X/Twitter, however you want to call it, and I'm refreshing every 30 seconds, looking for confirmation, looking to make sure this Shams account wasn't hacked, etc. By the way, you know the trade's bad when everybody in the universe thinks that Shams got hacked. But anyways, after I refreshed and ESPN posted it across Instagram and Twitter, then it was real. I then flipped on YouTube TV on my TV in my living room, and I flipped on SportsCenter. I watched that for 90 minutes. I watched Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst, Kendrick Perkins break down their thoughts on this really shocking trade. And then after I was on Twitter at the same time, kind of second screen experience as I'm watching legacy media, right? Watching SportsCenter on linear from about 11 p.m. to 1:30 in the morning. I was just deep in YouTube live streams and emergency podcasts, watching I couldn't get enough. I mean, this is great. I'm a Laker fan. We now have a top 2 global superstar on our team. Very shocking trade. And I couldn't get enough of it. And I really wanted to get any type of analysis until I fell asleep. So I was paying attention to how me as a consumer, a sports fan, a Laker fan in 2025, how I jumped from a text, the first place I go still. I mean, nobody holds a candle to Twitter. I wasn't on Instagram Threads. I wasn't on Blue Sky, but I can tell you for a certainty that a lot of folks in my same demo, if you will, go to Twitter to confirm and make sure that it's an official account. So a few takeaways from this experience that I thought may be useful for you as you run your different brands on a daily basis with sports fans. Number one, like I just said, Twitter X is still the king of breaking news, especially in sports, especially NBA Twitter. I mean, I really think that they have a stranglehold on that community in terms of real-time analysis. And despite what people say, I think it's the cool thing to say that Elon has ruined X, but no other app even holds a candle, is even close to X when it comes to breaking news. So say what you will, it's a first stop in sports for rumors, for confirmation, for real-time reaction. So if you're a sports brand, if you're a sports team, there has to be an emphasis on that platform or somebody else is going to be able to soak up that engagement rather than you. Number two, again, I think it's also another popular thing to say that TV is dead and streaming is now taking over. Legacy media still holds a lot of weight. And whether it's YouTube TV or DirecTV or Tubi or Hulu Live, however you get your quote unquote television, your linear networks. Again, I turned on ESPN to validate the news. And I think the reason I bring that up is there's still a need for official accounts, official news providers when major events happen, because there's so many social fake accounts, and there's, hacks, and there's misinformation out there. So I still think you're looking for confirmation, because again, everybody just assumed that Shams got hacked when that first, even when he came back with a reply tweet. No, it's real. Like, yeah, that's exactly what someone that would hack you would say. And the third thing that was probably the most surprising is YouTube Live. We've been screaming from the rooftops with a lot of our clients over the last 18 months or so that YouTube Shorts in particular is an undervalued platform that brands are just not a lot of brands still look at YouTube as a long form. I got to create a masterpiece of a 13-minute, episode. And YouTube Shorts is really the same as a TikTok or Instagram Reels. And if you're already creating TikToks and Instagram Reels, why not just take another 5 minutes and post it on YouTube Shorts? That's a really, really, really important thing that I would stress for you as you're listening. If you don't have a YouTube Shorts strategy, it's time to actually think about it and do some research. But what was interesting for me is I clicked the live tab, and I was watching shows anywhere from 1,000 subscribers all the way to 5 million subscribers, like a Bill Simmons at the Ringer. I just searched Lakers and then went to the live tab, and I was watching some high school students, I think, talk about the trade, and then I was watching some legacy media guys that have done a good job of going to these emergency podcasts. Remember, 90% of people that make over $75,000 a year, which is the coveted demo that every brand wants to be in front of, they're on YouTube, 90%. So again, I'll continue to beat this drum until I see every brand utilizing YouTube. And if you don't have the resources to do a lot of fun, long form content, like maybe you're watching right now on my YouTube, then just use YouTube Shorts. I know you guys are creating great TikTok and Instagram Reel content if you're a brand in sports, entertainment, etc. So again, I just wanted to share, although it may be a more anecdotal experience, I know talking to friends, colleagues, people in the space, again, talking about this. This was the hit of Super Bowl weekend or Super Bowl week when I was down there in New Orleans. People couldn't get enough of this Luka trade. And I was talking to folks about how I was consuming specifically YouTube Live. And I think every brand now is looking at how do we go live during breaking moments? Like if we're an entertainment brand, if you're Variety, what have you, and then it's the Grammys and Kendrick just won 5 Grammys, can you go live seconds after it goes off telecast? Because people want more information. And I think it really makes me think how brands show up on YouTube, but also I think a lot of brands, because it was a popular thing to do, pulled away from X for a multitude of reasons, and you just still have to play. That's where your fans are, and you got to go where your fans are every single time. So I thought that was interesting. Obviously, go Lakers, go Luka and LeBron. We're looking to win a championship here. We're now a contender, in my opinion. So love that for us. But I did want to share what it meant for sports media and really share, I really think, how sports consumers are ingesting their content, especially in a news environment like this, and to implore you all to look closer at YouTube, because as I see, the majority of brands are not taking full advantage of this incredible platform, especially on the shorts angle. So there you have it, how fans get their sports news in 2025. My name's David Brickley. As always, this has all been powered by STN Digital, and we appreciate you all for tuning in on the Business of Social podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, YouTube.